Plenty of action yet to go right here on Championship Wrestling. As a matter of fact, we'll see the King and manager Danny Davis will be out here a little bit later in a single match. As the King out and got some action in already in there.
That's right. Well, we're just going to forget about him. Don't even mention his name to me anymore. I want to talk about an upcoming match.
Wait a minute.
If you don't mind, Lance.
Hold it just a second, Jerry. You were not here last week, and before you start making any comments about the upcoming championship defense, I would like for you to stand here and take a look at a tape that we have. Sonny King was here, and we want you to hear the conversation that we have with Sonny. Can we get it?
Lance, when I was in intensive care, they let my little 7-year-old son come in, and he looked at me, and tears was in his eye. And he says, I couldn't talk to him. My mouth was full of tubes and everything. But he says to me, Daddy, he says, are you going to be able to wrestle again? And I says, I couldn't talk to him. I just winked my eye at him and shook my head. But that's gone back in my mind and back of my mind. And Lance, for Larry, I'm going to wrestle again. A lot of people say no, the doctor's not certain about it, but I am certain about it. Lance, I've been training. I'm in shape. I feel I'm in shape physically and mentally. And I want a match to find out if I'm ready by not starting on the bottom, come right back on the top where I was when I left. I'm talking to the promotion. I'm asking for a championship match. They said I got to bring, I've carried the x-ray to them. I've carried the note from the doctor. I've showed them my training program, and I'm just waiting. But Lance, I'm going to be defeated and retired if I'm going to be defeated. But I'm going to wrestle again for Larry, and I'm going to have Larry, wherever I get a match at, I'm going to have Larry there. Hopefully, I can get a championship match, and this would be it for me. Either that proved to the people that I am ready, or prove to myself that I'm not. And believe me, I'll be more than glad to take a 9 to 5. But I want to say to the people, I promised Larry that I would wrestle again. And maybe one more match. It has to be a championship match. That may be my last match, but I'm willing to accept it. But the truth has come out from the intensive care. The fact is that I did wrestle again because I said to Larry I would.
Okay. Sonny King, in a conversation we had with him last week, and there's no question about it. Sonny and I have had a lot of differences in the past, but he's dedicated.
Well, that's true. I'm beginning to wonder, with this match now, I'm beginning to wonder what the promoter, Eddie Marlin, wants me to be. It looks like he's trying to make me the bad guy around here or something, doesn't it? I have people ask me all the time, are you the good guy or the bad guy? I've always just been Jerry Lawler, but, it seems like lately I have to wrestle somebody like... I take Andy Kaufman in the ring, who runs his mouth all over the country, knocking wrestling. So I drop him on his head about 600 letters of people saying, how could you do that to another human being? Can you believe? I mean, they're mad at me. I'm the bad guy. I'm watching Good Morning America, and Frank Gifford's making me look like a big monster or something, And now I've got to go in the ring against Sonny King. And here's a man who has been stabbed. I mean, it's an incredible story. He was stabbed through his heart. A surgeon takes the man's heart out and has to sew it back together, and the open heart surgery and all of this kind of stuff. And this is how can somebody listen to an interview about him talking about his little son, wanting to know if he's ever going to wrestle again? How can they want to see a man like that lose? I'd like to see him win myself if he wasn't wrestling me. But all I got to say is, this is not making me look like Mr. Nice Guy, and I am a nice guy. You know that, don't you, Lance?
Okay.
Well, let me just say this about the Sonny King match. I know perfectly well what Sonny King is going through because I went through a similar situation. You know this, Lance, with my leg.
Yeah.
There was a point when I thought, because of the injury to my leg, that I would never be able to wrestle again. And the most important match in my entire life was my first match back after the leg healed, because it was the match where I had to prove not only to the fans and the promotion, but most of all to myself, that I could still wrestle. And that was, like I said, the most important match that I've ever been in. Now, Sonny King is in a similar type match, except he's been through 10 times the ordeal that I went through. to have open heart surgery, to be near death like he was, and then to come back and he has to prove to himself and not only, his little son that he can still wrestle again. And I know this means all the world to Sonny King. But what I want to say to Sonny is the fact that I want you to realize that as much as that means to you, as much as this match means to you, Sonny, this belt right here means the exact same to me. Because I've given 10 long years of my life to reach the top in this profession and to win and wear this belt proudly. And for me to go out there and have any kind of, to hold back anything at all, not do my very best to beat Sonny King any way that I can and to win that match would be not being fair to my fans and not being fair to myself. So I want Sonny King to know that this may be his first match back and it may be his last match. Because I've got to come in there, Sonny, and I've got to do everything in my power to beat you. And I can't show any mercy. I can't have any feelings for him. All I can do is look at Sonny King just like I look at any other wrestler when I step in that ring, Lance. And I'm going to go in there with this belt, and I'm telling Sonny King right now that I'm going to do my dead level best to come out with it.
By golly, Jerry, I can't hold that against you. I don't think anybody can. It's a profession, and you have been at it, taking lots of bumps, knocks, cuts, and everything else. You've done your time in the hospital and a lot more of it, too, and I can't blame you for it. The only question I don't know is what kind of physical shape King is in. He says he's in great shape, and if he is, it's going to be one whale of a match.
It sure is, and I want to say this. I want to wish Sonny King the best of luck. Like I said, it's going to be hard to root against a man in a situation like he's in. But that's why I'm wondering, what's going to be the reaction of the fans. But I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to do everything I can, no matter what it is, Lance, to win that match.
Okay. Well, there it is. The King, Danny Davis. You know what sticks in the back of my mind? I wonder if at some one given point, that interview that Jerry stood here and watched with us might pop into his mind in there, and all it can take against a guy who's as capable and as big and strong and agile as Sonny King is that 1 second of hesitation that could cost him. We'll just have to see. I know this, that it's going to be a whale of a match when King and Lawler get together, and it's one that I want to see just to see Sonny back in action again.